Human design reveals who you are energetically and who you came here to be. I'm Dana, your human design guide.
And I'm Haley, on this journey with you to uncover the power of human design.
Together, we're here to explore how embracing your authentic self is the ultimate path to a life of more freedom and fulfillment.
Welcome to the Human Design Hive podcast. Let's get into it.
Well, hello there, Haley. How you doing?
Hello. Good.
Good. It's so good to see you. I it feels a little weird every time, we hop on. Now it's been a full couple weeks since we recorded and we did the last transit episode. And I almost have to remember how to do it all again. And literally this time I am learning to do it all again because we're on a new platform here. We're seeing if we're going to be able to get off the Zoom and onto Riverside for the podcast, which means nothing to a lot of people. But if you yourself have to use any of those tools, it can be a little scary to move over to a platform doing something, especially like a transit episode, to make sure everything records right, comes out right, because when you're recording it, it doesn't look great.
Yes.
It can be a little jumpy and everything can look a little off. So we're hoping that it all works out. Excuse me.
Yes.
And I don't want to kill myself later today, or I shouldn't say that. And that I don't want to go hide in a cave later on because it's so bad. But anyways, so we are here for a transit for November already. Here we are in the throes of October. And as of recording this, what's today? The 19th. We're recording this a little early for y'all, as we do, because we all have things going on in life. When you make a podcast with somebody in South Carolina and somebody in Colorado, it got to work with your schedules. Anyways, before we got into today's episode, there's a couple things I wanted to touch on. First one is something that we have coming up that I'm very excited about. And if you're already on the email list, you might have seen in some of the transit episode or updates. I do the emails as a transit update every 6 days, every time we move into a new gate, and kind of teasing a little bit a workshop that's coming up next month, November. Excuse me. And I have been really feeling the pull to get off of just the podcast and talking about this stuff and making the formal leap into human design teaching, education, in the sense that I'm going to start putting this into more structured offers so that you can learn at your own pace and also in the future learn within the community and be able to really not just learn the mechanics and the basics, but also how to integrate all this into your life and, being able to look at other people's charts, and whether it's your in your relationships, your families or your clients or whatever. So that's what I'm building out. And it's just been a challenge to step into. I'm not really sure why, other than everybody has to go through their own process. So even if you're out there contemplating, what it is you feel like you should be doing or what you're called to, and you can't figure it all out, it can come. You just have to really sit with things sometimes and get a better understanding of yourself and what your gifts, your strengths, what really is calling to you. And I have found that one of those points along the way is understanding your Incarnation Cross. And we do love ending each episode with an Incarnation Cross because it's not a prescription, but it is kind of guideposts to help you really understand what it's like when you're really living in your design of what your life can look like and what you're here to really bring to the world. And so people are always interested in that. We love talking about it. We've done tons of incarnation crosses. So I thought, why not start with that? We'll have a little fun get together. I don't have anywhere for you to sign up yet because I'm working on that, but I do have a date. It's going to be November 9th. So mark your calendars. That's a Sunday. And so if you're not already on the email list, make sure you got an email list because details will be coming out soon. And I'm thinking even those early signups, I'm going to open up some slots there to be able to submit your chart details so we can maybe look at your incarnation cross in the course of this 90-minute to 2-hour workshop we're going to do. So it's going to be on Zoom. It'll be recorded, but make sure you get on the email list to get the final details of that, which will be coming up very soon. So that's the first thing I wanted to mention. And yay for me, I did it at the top of the episode.
Yay!
I always forget. The other thing I wanted to mention real quick so I was waking up this morning thinking about, we're going to do this transit episode.
Mm-hmm.
How yesterday I attended the local No Kings protest that was happening here. Of course, I want to say if you were living under a rock, you would know about this. But when Haley got on the call with me today, she's like, "What protests were you at?" The No Kings. I said 7 million people maybe got out yesterday and protested what was happening right now.
To be fair, I'm not really on social media now, so
that's okay. That's okay. So I do want to know though what you thought when I sent you in the group text what I was doing today. One of the protest signs, the pictures of the cats was.
I was like, okay. I didn't know.
I love
like,
the signs. Okay. The signs are humorous. There's so many creative people out there. It was anyways, I'm not going to go into it. But I was a participant. I went by myself. It was a great turnout. I went in June as well. I would say, here in Myrtle Beach, there was double the crowd as there was last June, or just this past June. And it's a big deal for me and for this state because I live in South Carolina and it's a deeply red conservative state, but things are changing. And even people who skew conservative, I think, are getting a little fed up with the trampling of, I would say, the Constitution is what I'm, personalities aside. I've always had a love for history, for governance in the sense that I was a political science major in college. I've always been deeply, impacted or deeply interested in, obviously this is the work I do of trying to help people understand their own individuality and their own purpose and that everybody is important. And I've always, that's always been important to me, and people's rights, all the stuff, right? So that's what you're just going to expect from me. That's where I land. I think it's important to know. And I love my country and I love what America stands for. And the Constitution is an amazing document. And we are living an experiment in the United States. We are the first of its kind country of our size and our diversity and our our prosperity. It's just like, it's incredible what America is, but also what America can still be. And we're going through these changes and we're going through these, it's not just, a growing pains. Like, this is very serious in my opinion of what's happening because I don't think enough people really value the uniqueness of our situation here. And this is the ultimate experiment and why so many powers that be around the world want to see it fail, because it shows the powers of individual people working together to create something that is good for everyone and not just a few at the top. And I think we are on the way to succeeding. And I hope it doesn't have to get much more terrible. I don't know. But anyways, the reason I wanted to say all that was because I realized we are moving, as we're recording this now, we moved into gate 50, the gate of values. And so yesterday during the protest, we were in the final stages of gate 32, which is the gate of continuity. And I had just, sent out the last transit email I sent out was about continuity. And so it had me thinking about how these themes there in that gate are about, being able to see what can endure and what can last is gate 32. It sees potential. It's part of that channel with 54, 32. 54 is that ambition, and 32. So it's like the, seeing what has potential, what can last, all that stuff. And also being able to understand or see what can endure over time and also what cannot. And it's, all these patterns of success and failure and, knowing what's viable. And so what I thought was interesting as it is the end of that gate, it's in line 6. Line 6 we always talk about is that looking towards the next gate, looking towards, it's got its roof perspective. It's up there looking, understanding all things. And then it moves into this gate 50 today, which is the gate of values. And, knowing what the tribe needs for survival and for prosperity and all that stuff. It's protecting and maintaining values, knowing what your values are, what you're standing up for. And I just thought that in the context of transits and what we talk about here, what a really interesting example of that energy playing out yesterday was. Yep.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add to that?
No, I mean, because I wasn't there to have that better experience of it.
So, we still have, we're going to be talking about November transits here. We still have a couple more transits before we get into November. So you'll be experiencing them before you hear this. But I just thought it was a way to see how what we're talking about here, how you can see it play out. It doesn't have I'm going to use the word prescription again. I'm going to try not to use that again today. Sometimes I get stuck on a word. But to understand, sorry, I just thought of something else. In that collective field, because we're talking about understanding these gate energies, but when we talk about transits, it's understanding that everybody is under those influences and being affected. And I think that was just a really good example of it. And so I'm just going to leave that there as we move into this month's transit. And so I started laughing there because I had a flash of myself from above of witnessing myself podcasting and talking, right? And it made me think of this show on Apple called, what's it called? Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne. Oh my God. What's that show called? It's a comedy. Oh my God. Total blank. I can see the picture. I know the whole show. What's it called?
Is it the one where it's like
they're friends. They're like best friends. I had to edit this out. Oh, Platonic. That's what it's called. Show on Apple TV called Platonic, has Seth Rogen in it and Rose Byrne. They're like best friends from college, and it's a platonic relationship. She's married and blah, blah, blah. But she has this friend who started a podcast, and she's like it's hilarious. It is a jab, I think, at podcasters, especially boss mom podcasters, right? And so she has this podcast, I can't remember what it's called, but they will show her recording with somebody. She'll be like, so she talks normal all the time, but then they show her podcast and she's like, yeah, so what do you have to say about that? We're here today with and every time they do that, it just made me laugh. And then she has these little catchphrases, all stuff. But what's they're jabbing at is because she has this persona, but in real life she's nothing like that, and she's just doing it just for profit and making things up and acting like a life coach when she doesn't even know what the hell she's talking about. But anyways, so I may or may not leave that in there. Anyways, I just want to tell you about it because every time I see her talk, it's like, and she's like 40 something, and she's like, oh my God. And I'm not going to leave this in, but she has this catchphrase called, don't ask, don't get. And so Rose Byrne's character is like, obviously she knows this woman a long time. It's her friend. I thought it was her sister, but then I realized, wait a minute, Rose Byrne's Australian. She's not. So they're just friends. And she's like, and then she starts seeing everybody around her is like adopting this whole like, it changed my life, right? Like, don't ask, don't get. And she's like talking about, anyways,
ask, don't get.
Reminds me of let them. Oh God. Okay, I'm not going to waste time on that. We're recording. Okay, so I do want to say, okay, so November transits. Here we go. So if you remember, as we closed out October, I said we were closing out the quarter, remember?
Yes. Yes.
And now I'm going to doubt myself and be
I
like,
think you're
oh,
right.
oh. Jesus Christ. Let's see. We were closing out. Yeah, I'm right. We were closing out the Quarter of Duality, and now we're moving into the Quarter of Mutation.
Yes.
So I think you're going to see that theme as we start November right out the gate. We are going through the sun transits at least, and honestly, the first three transits are all individual gates. All of them,
Okay.
sun and earth. So there's going to be a lot of individual energy moving here.
Okay.
And we're going to start that in on November 5th. Again, I would like to remind everybody that when we are going through these transits and we're telling you the date that it goes through, I'm working off of a ephemeris that has the position of all the planets on a certain day, but it's all reported at 12 a.m. So, it may say like, because when I was looking at this transit, when we're getting to the later in the month when my birthday is, if I'm looking at the ephemeris, the position of that gate this year is going to be different a little bit than it was the year I was born, because that would be 55 years ago. So these are times of the year where these gates show up, but there is a little wobble room onto the exact time that it's moving into that gate, right? As we said before. So just keep that in mind. If I tell you, it's November, if it's November 17th, but then you get your email if you're on the list and it's actually the 18th or the 16th, it's an approximation. Okay. So not that anybody has ever complained to me. Thank you very much. You guys are very kind. I don't get any messages like, you don't know what you're talking about, but we're all just doing the best we can. So, November 5th.
Yes. Right after Election Day.
Are you tired, Haley?
A little bit. I'm trying.
I know. I don't want to feel like I'm bulldozing you.
No, it's fine. I'm here.
Oh, yeah. You said right after the election. Okay. Yeah. I forgot.
Right after Election Day.
Yeah. We are going to have this essentially. When is the election?
November 4th.
So around that time, we'll be moving from gate 44 into gate 1. The sun is going to be in gate 1, which is, now remember, I told you these are all in individual circuitry, so you should be able to find them.
I know where one is.
It's in the
heart.
Girl.
What?
G center.
Okay. God. We're not completely off.
Not completely. Well, we don't refer to the G center as the heart center in human design.
The G center.
It would be in the chakra system. The location is the heart chakra, middle of the chest. But anyway, so yes, G center. So gate 1, gate of self-expression. It's also in I Ching called the creative, and in quantum called purpose. And it's the channel there, the 1-8 reaching up to the throat. That's the channel of inspiration, right? And what do you know about gate 1? You've got to know something about gate 1. Come on. Self-expression, the creative. Come on.
Yeah,
it's in the G center. It's individual. It's literally in the name.
You've said everything else. It's a very creative person, typically. You've said everything I would have said.
Okay. All right. So the G center, of course, this is the center of love, identity, but this really is, and it's gate 1. It's the first gate in the hexagrams. However, it is kind of this more masculine expression, they say sometimes, but it is the urge of the individual to express itself, creatively, which isn't just in the arts, but a lot of times people who have this gate may have that. I should say before I go any further where the earth gate is, because I forgot to say that part. The
Okay.
earth is in gate 2. So that is the direction of the self. You see it is on the bottom side of the
East.
G center.
Mm-hmm.
It's also called the receptive in the I Ching, and in quantum she calls it allowing. And it
Okay.
connects to gate 14 in the sacral in the channel of the beat. So these two, 1 and 2, play together. Obviously, they're programming partners. But it really is kind of the yin and the yang, the creative expression of like putting it out in the world, right? It's like what um, the individual, I mean, it is the core of the individual, and pure individual creativity, authenticity, and a drive to be true to who you are and express what you are and
I
not
think of a
what
peacock.
oh yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, but not too prideful or boastful. It's like it
Mm-hmm.
just can't be helped. It usually is if somebody has the one or the full channel, they are a creatively expressive person. And so if you do have that full channel, it's that channel of inspiration, you are somebody, I usually think I see that these people are doing some kind of expression in some way that is either, through written or dance or art or whatever. A lot of times, they have those markers. They don't have to. So if you have it and you're not doing that stuff, don't think you're
You're all
behind or you're
still
not doing
fine.
anything right. I'm sure you will find there are ways in your life that you are authentically expressing who you are in some fashion. I mean, you could be a teacher, you could
Mm-hmm.
be, there's lots, a chef, you could be any kind of,
Mm-hmm.
job that you're going to
Mm-hmm.
be doing it your way. And so the gate 2, that allowing that receptive direction of the self, the way it's connected to the 14 is it gives the direction for the energy. It helps the individual know the correct direction to go because this is the center, the G center, like we said,
Mm-hmm.
identity and direction. So if you think about those two parts of that, gate 1's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like the identity, gate 2 is the direction part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is kind of it, you hear the other descriptions, receptive, allowing. There's a lot of themes in there of understanding that it's not about forcing, it's about really lining up with what feels good and true for you. It helps you find that direction and then allowing it to come to you because it is in the G center. It's a magnetic
Mm-hmm.
monopole, what you bring to you. And so it's not about, not about controlling things and where you go. It's about alignment, allowing life to unfold. Since it's connected to a channel or connected to a gate that's in the sacral center, you obviously can see it's going to be about responding to that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of faith, a lot of trust, a lot of allowing in this gate. And so in this configuration with the two of them together, you can kind of see that you have the creative and the receptive. And so they have this relationship together of creative expression and directional guidance. It's like what is the drive and what is driving kind of thing, or what's directing, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you have that pure expression, that pure creative drive, the urge to express yourself and your individuality, to bring something new in, because that's what the individual circuitry is all about,
Mm-hmm.
mutation. This is that the 2 is helping when that earth energy anchor into that sense of direction, like it's going
Mm-hmm.
to help give you direction to what your creative expression is going to be. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's really being able to find the right path and the right timing through gate 2 in order to express how it is that you want to
Mm-hmm.
proceed.
Yeah. It's
I'm going to
interesting.
pause. I'm just going to say I'm going to pause because I can never tell if you're just waiting for me to stop talking or if you have something to say. So I have to pause for a moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say it's interesting how this quarter of mutation starts with that when we've been in this duality. So it's been about relationships and more broader things, but then we go into this quarter of mutation and it's so heavily like out of the gate about personal individuality and rooting in that direction for the individual.
Oh, you just wait. It compounds. But you're right. So why do you I'm gonna, test your ideas here. Why do you think that is, moving from duality into mutation? Like, what are the themes in this last quarter? Do you remember what this is about in this quarter?
I mean, I think vaguely it's about obviously mutation is about moving on to the next. It's about bettering. It's about, taking the next step. And we can only do that individually. Like it may be ultimately for the greater good of things, but
Mm-hmm.
it has to be the single person that creates that change.
That's right. I'm going to the traditional words here. It
Yes.
says purpose fulfilled through transformation. And this is like moving into Scorpio season. They always call it November. And so it really is really kind of evaluating your place. Are you, what is the journey? What have you learned? Is it transforming? Because a lot of themes in Scorpio is about death, rebirth, transformation. And being a Scorpio, you get a lot of bad rap about all your intensity, but I think it's because, there are so many themes around that. And it is this being able to, we've gone through the journey of like you said, of like building and putting it out in the world and creating and do all this stuff. And so you almost have to go back into this cycle of what was the transformation? What is the transformation? What is going to change? How am I going to change? And all this other stuff, within this quarter. But anyway, so yes, so there is a little, since these are programming partners always working together, right? So, because they're opposite each other on that wheel, like we always like to demonstrate with our hands. They're always traveling together in tandem around the wheel. And in this time of the year, the individual part of it, the creative expression, the creative is highlighted. And so there is a little bit of they work beautifully together because they are that yin and that yang, it's more masculine what goes out in the world, more feminine what's received. But there can be a little tension there at times of, that gate one wanting to get out there and to express and create and to move things outward and make it, visible. But the gate two is also kind of, well, we need to let things kind of move through at its own time and wait for the right alignment before really doing, some of this stuff. So there can be a little bit of this like back and forth of like feeling the urge to be creative or do things, but not really knowing where it's supposed to go if it's feeling unbalanced.
Yes.
Okay. I was just waiting to pause. And so, the core lesson here between the two of them again is, that when you trust your own inner guidance, you'll naturally orient yourself towards your being able to express yourself creatively. And so, during this time collectively, there can be a lot, of course, heightened desire to express themselves authentically. Could be good, could be bad. Oh, we're going through a lot right now.
It's
But
time.
we're gonna look at it in a good way. People may be feeling a little bit more inspired, and it is a good time really to tap into your creativity because you might have little bursts of inspiration or the desire to do that, to find some way to express yourself in that way. And like I said, it doesn't have to like be anything that people see or consume or witness or any of that stuff. Like it could be you yourself alone writing in your journal or, making a small little fun piece of art or arranging some flowers, maybe just getting out in the world and, being in your own space and finding your way to get back in touch with that authentic core of who you are. And so, just some things to explore during this, transit. Like I said, just honor your own time, space. If you feel a sudden need to retreat, to be alone, that's okay too. A lot of times you need some of that quietness, stillness to get back in touch with who you are. Notice if you're feeling pulled in a certain direction, how that feels for you, maybe looking into that, not forcing something, and maybe not actively trying to find something to be pulled into the direction of, but just,
Mm-hmm.
see what shows up for you. Like I said, again, feeling creative, do something just for the hell of it. Don't worry about where it's going. And, maybe ask yourself if there is anything that wants to be expressed through you right now. As I said, even if nobody sees it, maybe look at, this is a big one with that gate too. Are there things that you're trying to control the outcomes and not allow them?
Mm.
There's a feeling of a lot of times in that gate too, in the shadow of not feeling supportive. So you try to make things happen or do things because you don't really trust that you are supported by the universe and by,
Mm-hmm.
everything around you, because there's so much in that gate built around trust. Because,
In the two.
in the two. Yeah, there's a lot there. And I know people struggle with that a lot with that gate two. When you have that, if I think gate two is my Saturn gate. A lot of lessons and discipline there. So it's something I can speak to, of having to, I don't have the gate one, but of learning to trust that I am supported. And if I allow myself to get in alignment and in the flow, things will be brought to me that I need.
Things will flow.
Which is true. It is true. It does show up. So, all right. So let's move on to, I love this. Okay. So it may not hit
Okay.
right on this date, but in the ephemeris on 11/11, we
Your
move
source
into
says
the sun in gate 43 and the earth in gate 23.
okay. 43.
Oh my God, Haley. Really?
Stop. Oh my God.
See, that's why I said that. She's a little tired.
I'm
It's
a
a
little
Sunday
tired.
afternoon. I just want to say, she picked this time to record. I'm not forcing
I
her.
know. This is my doing.
We need to catch her in the morning. Okay. So, sun in gate 43
Yes. God.
in the
I
Ajna.
should have known that.
Yeah. Gate of insight. And in traditional, it's called breakthrough. And in quantum, she calls it insight. Gate 23 in the earth gate there. Gate of assimilation. It's in the throat. Traditional is called splitting apart. And in quantum, she calls it transmission. And together, these are in the same channel, the channel of structuring. Yes. So it is bringing the ajna connection to the throat in the individual circuitry in the knowing circuit right there. And if you've never listened to us before and you're wondering why we're making such a big deal out of Haley not knowing this, because everybody in her family has this channel. She has part
I have
of the
half
channel.
of it too.
You have the 43, right? I have it, so we are a little, we are a collective of people, our little family, that everybody has either the full channel or part of it in our immediate family, which what makes us so weird. And we know each other and get along so well because we all know we're weird.
Yes. And we know that other people know we're weird.
And we're okay with that. Okay, so let's address this weirdness, okay? Because I don't want to, offend anyone. But so the gate 43 is called insight or breakthrough. It is ajna. It is in that knowing circuit, and so it starts the knowing circuit starts up there in the head with the 6124, where the inspiration, the ideas, the connection to source gets channeled down through the ajna. And, it'll have like those aha moments or whatever. But then the gate 43 is there to take these potentially new and mutative ideas, things that may not have been really shared or expressed before, to bring it out into the world through language, through that gate 23, which is assimilation. That's the assimilating of all the pieces and parts and making it simple, simplifying the information. So that's the gift of the 23, is being able to simplify and make it more understandable, the unique
Mhm.
perspective of the gate 43. And so
Mhm.
the challenge there is the gate 43 uh, doesn't always make sense at first, because it's sometimes, like I said, it's a new perspective. Sometimes it's something that nobody's ever seen it or thought of it that way. And the channel itself is referred to as the Genius to Freak channel, because when it's since it's what do you call it? It's projected energy in the sense that it connects to the throat, but there's no motor there in that channel. It's not a
Mhm.
manifested channel. It is something that needs to be recognized, so
Mhm.
that even though if you have the full channel, like I do, and you have a defined throat, it doesn't mean it's always the right time to
Mhm.
say what it is you know, or you think you know,
Mhm.
right? And so the genius part of it is when you wait for the right timing. Throat center is all about timing, and you're not trying to force your ideas on someone or anything like that. And it is being asked of you, or it's just, you know, like in this case, where I podcast so that I can express my ideas, and they may sound weird if we were
Mhm.
going to have a conversation face to face, and people, because I've had this experience way too many times, people weren't on the same wavelength as me at the same time and didn't know what I'm talking
Mhm.
about, or they don't care, or whatever. I get that look of either blank stares or just kind of like, okay,
Confusion.
or what? But if you're if I just say what I want to say in this format as a podcast, and you are listening to it at the right time, it's going to land with you, and it might help make sense. I might help make sense of something that you previously had difficulty understanding. I may not. So the that's the genius part of it, is, like I said,
Mhm.
is the right time, right people, all lines up. What you have to say can be really transformative for people.
Mhm.
When you don't, that's the freak part. Obviously, they're like,
Yeah.
you don't wait, you're forcing it, you're speaking out of turn, you're trying to get attention, whatever, which is
Mhm.
pretty much how I spent early a part of my life, is talking too much just to fill up space, and has such a feeling inside of wanting to share so much of all the, things I learned, but also I realize most people in the general public don't care. So if you are here listening to this podcast and you like what I have to say and the conversations that Haley and I have, I'm so grateful. We are so grateful you're here, because,
Mhm. Mhm.
I know we're not for everybody, but that's okay. I'm glad you're here.
We have fun.
So, yeah. So this is the voice of knowing in the individual. Like,
Mhm.
this is what I know. And it also can be a struggle because it's not based on logic. It's not based on memory per se. A lot of this is breakthrough, like the name suggests, of information just comes through, and you just know it. You can't always back it up. You just know it,
Mhm.
which can be very frustrating in
Mhm.
debates, conversations, especially if you're debating someone with a lot of logical circuitry. Facts and
Yes.
figures, people. This is not facts and figures. This is knowingness. But it's
No.
a lot of intuition. It's a lot of
Mhm.
like, yeah, I mean, this one probably one of my most favorite aspects of my design is understanding this channel, because it brought so much clarity for me around the experience I've had so much in my life of
Mhm.
feeling misunderstood, because there is a lot of, in the shadow here of these two gates in particular, of feeling misunderstood, especially gate
Mhm.
43. You can tend to hide out, and you feel weird, people don't get you, and that can stop you from expressing yourself at all.
Mhm.
But you are being asked to bring that forth. Now, in your experience, you only have the 43, you don't have the 23. So you
Yes.
have at times more of that experience of not being not I would say not being understood, but making it sometimes more difficult to put into words what it
Yeah.
is.
I
It's not
struggle
that you
more
can't.
often with,
Yes, you
yeah,
can.
but I do more often. You'll hear me struggling to explain something because I just like I can see it in my head. I know what I'm trying to say,
Mm-hmm.
I know at the time it needs to come out, but like I can't put it into the language that needs to be put into.
Now, let me ask you a question. I don't know the answer. I'm not leading the witness, I hope. But since you do have so many family members with that connection to the throat,
Mhm.
me, your brother, your cousin, your other kind of brother,
Bonus brother.
bonus brother, I'm sorry, I said it wrong. Do you find it easier to express yourself or not? Because, I mean, you could be conflicting with the way we all express our ideas because it's
Mhm.
going to be different because, we have consistent energy there in that 23.
Mhm.
But do you notice struggling more like in your friend groups or work or things like that sometimes? I mean, I don't know who else has that channel around you. You don't know either.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, I do feel when I'm around y'all like I am able to express better, and part of that is also just because you're my family and it's just
Right.
that comfort level. But I think I am able to explain things when I need to, or like you guys are able to pick up on what I'm trying to explain, even if I'm struggling to explain it. Whereas
That's true.
sometimes with Presley, he because he has a ton of logic in his chart. So like
Yes.
if I don't like almost if I don't give him all of the details, he can't interpret and like lead to where I'm at without me like having
Yeah.
to tell him. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, yeah. Well, because that's a good thing because there is kind of that overview perspective that you could have, with knowingness because like it does just kind of drop in and I do think it has more of I don't even know if saying it's a big picture perspective is right because it's not like I think it's because it's being open to whatever is being channeled through because it really is a channel. When you have
Mm-hmm.
this full configuration here, I think especially the connection there that you are transmitting information that hasn't been brought forth before.
Mm-hmm.
And because, what we say about those three connections from the ajna to the throat are, how you are people that are designed to speak your mind. And
Mm-hmm.
speaking your mind here can be a little bit more an expansive kind of way because it's like tapped into the unknown, the vastness and
Mm-hmm.
making meaning of some of these, things in some way. So, as we, really look at what the dance is there, it is between understanding when is the right time to speak and when not, between intuition and, speaking or articulation of like, now's the right time. And here's what you can say. And to trust, again, there's some trust in there that, when you are invited to speak or when you feel it's the right time and you're not pushing yourself, somebody has asked for your advice, or like I said, maybe you're writing, you're speaking, you're making videos, whatever it is, it will arrive at the right time for the right people. So there's a lot of trust in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So during this time, you could expect with this gate highlighted, there could be some sudden clarity or maybe intuitive downloads. There might be things that come through that maybe you hadn't seen it that way before or thought about it that way. You may feel the urge to explain yourself or, tell people what it is you're thinking, but also to remember that pause there. The energy is there for you to be able to express it because remember the earth is in 23. We're not just dealing with the one side of the gate here.
Mm-hmm.
So expect maybe some new information to come through that hasn't been there before, connecting the dots, that kind of thing, or conversations you have with people might feel extra enlightening or creative potentials kind of like in the air. It's a time when new ideas and new innovations can come up and things that can literally change the way people think because that's the real gift in that channel is being able to mutate that energy, change the way people think. But it's also an
Mm-hmm.
invitation to pause and listen before speaking to know when is the right time to share and when is not the right time to share. Because like I said,
Mm-hmm.
I would say the first 25 plus years of my life just feeling like I always had to say everything that was wanting to be said. My non-motorized throat was looking for attention. It was defined, but it wasn't motorized. And so I was always like overactive in a way, in the sense of filling up space. And I've understood, and I have found, especially through human design and understanding specifically how this gate or this channel works, because it is my, it is how my, that there's a lot more power and impact in being quiet and not feeling I have to push my thoughts onto everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just a lot of wasted energy if you're trying to push your thoughts onto people that don't want to hear what you have to say. So during this
Yeah.
time, maybe where do you need to practice more silence, not as avoiding something, but as a space for, that download to come through. Do you feel that you have the tendency to want to be understood and, trying to make your point, be understood and make it happen kind of thing? Or can you just trust that, you will be understood when the right people are there to hear what you have to say? Understanding that this is in that connection space of individuality, again, that individual channel, the knowing channel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to feel personal to you. And so contemplating about sharing your voice, what that feels like for you. Does it feel safe? Are you okay if people don't understand you sometimes? Does it stop you from sharing? Because there's a lot of, I would say, curiosity here as well, because there's new things coming up all the time, and you don't want to get in the habit of shutting yourself down if you have these gates. And so to really understand that your voice is needed, and, get an example this week, if you don't have these gates, of what that feels like to really trust your own inner knowing and sharing it with the world. So anything else you want to say there, Haley?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're going to move on to
Okay.
November 17th. We're going to say happy birthday to me, because we're moving into
Happy
my son.
birthday.
My son is in gate, or the son will be in gate 14. It's all about me. It's not. It's in gate 14, power skills. And in the I Ching called position in great measure. And in quantum, she calls it creation. And okay.
Okay.
And then, interesting, Earth is in gate 8, contribution. The traditional is called holding together, and in quantum she calls it fulfillment. So you see the little connection here, don't you? I know you see it as you're looking at it. From one,
Yeah.
as we started the month in the 1 and the 2, these are the other end. These gates are the other
ends.
end of those channels. Told you, we're going all through it, all straight up the G center, throat, ajna, sacral. That straight channel right up the middle. Yes. So yes, the 14 connects with the 2 in the sacral, as we said before, in the channel of the beat. And the 8 connects with the 1, as we said before, in channel of inspiration. So I just want to tell everybody that if you don't get some of the energies in your chart and the things that can seem, this is why it's so great to have other people look at your chart and, have other perspectives, because I have been looking at my chart for over 5 years, deep study. And sometimes it is even harder to look at your own gates and channels and to understand what that is really like. A lot of times because, you've had lots of experiences between the highs and the lows and the shadows and the gifts and everything. So looking at it today, I had another one of those like, oh, I can see a little bit more sharper how things are, especially in the context of, like I said, this pivot in my business. It's so obvious when I start looking at it again through the lens of gates channels. I'm like, why wasn't I following this direction sooner? But it's okay. All in good timing. It's all at the right time. You don't know until you know. You don't know until you know. So gate 14 sits in the sacral. So automatically we know this is about what?
Waiting to respond. You got to
responding
respond
to life. Right. And it's about what is energizing your sacral. And so it's connected to the gate 2, that direction of the self. And so this is a channel that is really designed to have the resources to really follow your heart. Let's say it's all about responding to what lights you up and understanding that if you keep following what it is that is engaging for you and what lights you up, and doing work because it's sacral work that you love, and that kind of experience in that direction of what's good for you, you'll always have the resources. So it's referred to, that channel, also as the keeper of the keys, I believe. And it's kind of that
Mm-hmm.
concept of you'll have everything you need as long as you are continuing to follow what your sacral is responding positively to, and you're doing work that you love. So, and it's not about just money. It's not just about choosing it for the sake of money for yourself, but there's a lot of prosperity in this channel, because honestly, that's what it's all about. If you're like, I mean, it's kind of the whole concept of the self help and all this other stuff. Follow the bliss, follow your bliss. And, you'll
Mm-hmm.
never work a day in your life as long as you're doing something you love. Well, yes and no. There's still work to be done, but this is the example of that, having that sustainable energy to really follow those dreams. And it feels fulfilling. It feels good because you're following that sacral response. And so these resources are often respond to being poured into meaningful work, meaningful to you, what you feel on purpose for, something that really drives you. Obviously, it's what you love. And really, the lesson here is that true prosperity, wealth, all that stuff comes from it's like a byproduct almost of being in alignment with yourself, because you're following that direction of the self, the gate 2, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now the gate 8 is the on the other side of the G center, top side, connected to
Mm-hmm.
that 1, is the part where the creative is expressed. So this is again a theme of authenticity, of having your unique contribution to things and finding fulfillment because you are, being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is another gate that, even though these two gates are individual in an individual circuitry, they really exemplify the path of the individual doing what they love and following their path and being authentically themselves actually empowers others to do the same. So it's like it
Mm-hmm.
becomes a living example of what is possible. And it's not by leading directly, it's by leading through example. And also that gate contribution is um the way they describe it in traditional is the one side of it. The gate 1 is like the artist, and then the gate 8 is like the art gallery owner or the agent, the person that speaks for the
Mm-hmm.
individual. So it's often when you have just that gate and you don't have gate 1, you tend to more want to highlight other people's work and shine a light on it. And so that's an interesting thing to understand, but I'm starting
Yes.
to get there. Do you have something to
Would
say?
you do that a lot?
I do
Highlight
that
other
a lot.
people's work.
I do that a
Yeah.
lot. Well, yeah, that's my sun and earth pairing, 14 and 8. Um, and it's one of those things that you feel called out on when you like first come to human design or you're in Gene Keys, when you see that you're, oh, okay, I'm actually in the shadow of this a lot of times, of like not following my own direction and putting others first and doing what they want and not what I want, and hiding who you truly are. Not in the sense that you're like an imposter, but,
Mm-hmm.
not just really sharing what's in your heart and what it is that is important to you and what you feel compelled to do, and, all this other stuff. So it's really this link between, creative fuel and authentic expression. And
Mm-hmm.
so, as we are, looking at these in partnership, obviously, when you feel energized by your work because you're following your sacral, you're going to be recognized naturally for what you have to offer, because it's a higher expression of it. It's attractive to
Mm-hmm.
people. And
It's hard to
and
ignore.
it's genuine. It's not performative. People are drawn to it. that prosperity that flows through, as I just said, is because you're doing what you love. It feels good, it's aligned, and it feels uplifting to you. And that also helps uplift others. Likewise, some shadow elements here, as we just said, you're not really seeing it. You might be hiding. Unfortunately, it's a sacral gate, that 14. So there could be not following your sacral, as I just said. So you could tend to overwork, overgive, maybe holding back out of fear that people won't value what it is you have to offer, that authenticity part, hiding yourself. So you could, be doing too much, holding back maybe. So there's kind of those themes in the shadow of burnout, and also invisibility, like just shutting it down. So when I first heard the shadows of those two gates was 14 is 14 is
complacency.
No, 14 compromise. Okay. 14 is compromise. 8 shadow is mediocrity. That was a hard day.
Yeah,
I'm
that doesn't feel good.
Yeah, mediocre life of compromise. Which, saying that to my daughter doesn't sound great to you, I'm sure, but I think you understand what I mean. I'm not saying you horrible life or anything. It just wasn't fully alive, and it is starting to come fully alive, which is wonderful. It's a wonderful feeling. Okay, so during this time, what we're going to be seeing is a lot of emphasis, hopefully, or experience with the idea of doing what you love and letting it be seen. You also, I want to say, if you have these gates or channels, but really, it is an energy that does spread out. And I will just say that I'm in the juxtaposition cross of empowering. And really that empowerment is for others by living a certain way true to yourself. Like I said, it helps others. But I find that this energy, like you said, really wants to highlight others, this 14 and 8 configuration. I can zero in on people all the time, and I'm always trying to encourage them to do the things that they feel in their heart they want to do. And it's so much easier for me to pinpoint that for someone else and to help guide them there than it is for yourself. You can't, even doctors have to go to doctors. That sounds really conceited. I didn't mean it in that way, like I'm all that important, but it is an energy that is.
I didn't take it that way.
Okay, so during this time, during the collective, there's some themes around, looking at the idea or experiencing the idea of purposeful work, purposeful living, prosperity through purpose. You may feel that urge, that pull guiding you in that direction, that, maybe now's the time, maybe make some steps. There's going to be more awareness around authenticity, authentic contribution, individual. Like you see, this November is going to be a lot of individual energy there. There may be some themes around collaborations, maybe around, sharing yourself and what you love and how that can impact others and help others, and all those ideas floating back and forth. And so it can be a very creative time, a time to really explore your own individual nature, what that looks like. Are you being authentic? Are you possibly being just mediocre in your life? Meaning you're just, mediocrity was like the sense that you're just trying to fit in. You're just trying to make, be like everybody else, in the sense that I don't want to make waves. It feels like
don't want
too
to
much.
Shine too bright.
Yeah, you don't want to be too much to people. You don't want to stand out too much, but to understand that, the only one you're really hurting there is yourself. You're not, if you're just really not allowing the potential prosperity and abundance to flow through to you by dimming your light, as you said, and hiding who you are. So, what kind of work or creation feels both satisfying to you? What kind of, things are you being called to express more authentically? Where are you being called to contribute in your own way? And how can you align your personal resources, your time, your money, your energy with what really matters to you? Those are the questions that are going to be contemplating during this week. Okay, 2 more real quick. All right, so on the 22nd or thereabouts, The sun's going to move into gate 34, gate of power. In the I Ching, it's called the
Mm-hmm.
power of the great. And in quantum, she
Mm.
calls it power.
There's a theme.
That is the theme. 34 is the theme. And the earth is going to be in gate 20.
Okay.
Yep. So the gate of the now, in traditional, it's called, in the I Ching, it's called contemplation. And in quantum, she calls it patience. All right. So hang on for a minute, because these two gates have a lot of things going on, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
They, for one, form their own channel.
Yes.
What do you know about this channel, Haley? It's called charisma,
Yeah, so
3420.
what I know, 34, I know, is very much the power of like the individual, like your own personal power.
Mm-hmm.
And 20, I'm less so sure about things.
Well, it's called the now. But what I was trying to lead you into was, if you have this channel, it determines your type.
Oh, yeah, you'd be a manifesting generator.
That's right. If you have this channel, you're automatically a manifesting generator. So that means any children born
Hello.
within these 6 days are going to be manifesting generators. There's going to be strong manifesting generator energy on the
E.
planet.
Is
So,
is this the manifesting generator channel?
yes, because it's taking a straight
Okay.
line from the sacral motor
Mm-hmm.
straight to the throat expression and manifestation.
Yes, okay.
So it is that
Mm-hmm.
fast, in the moment. Like, this makes a really fast manifesting generator because it's
Mm-hmm.
powerful. Okay, so
Is this the channel that we call the gunslinger, or is that a
no,
different pairing in here?
no,
Okay.
that's a different one. That's the 1020. So, okay. So the gate 34 has 3 connection points. It connects to the gate 20 in the throat,
Mm-hmm.
charisma. It connects to the G center through gate 10 in exploration. And it
Mm-hmm.
also connects to 57 in the spleen
Mm-hmm.
for another power. That's called the channel of power. A lot of power there. The 20 also connects with several gates. So as we just said, it connects to the 1020.
Mm-hmm.
That's the awakening, gunslinger. 3420, as we just said, charisma. And then
Mm-hmm.
20 also connects to 57, and that's called the brainwave. So when you're looking at a chart, it's in that cluster there where you're like, oh my God, there's so
Mm-hmm.
many connections here. And most of those, a
Yeah.
lot of those are part of the integration network. So even though
Mm-hmm.
they may not be in that middle, straight up through the middle channel, these are still a lot of individual energy, especially
Mm-hmm.
in the 34 side of it, because 34 is that sacral individual, or like you said, it's your individual power. It is that raw, vital life force energy. It is creative power in motion. It's something that, especially when it's connected. So the 3420 is like power in the now. So it takes a certain amount of presence. That's what the gate 20 is. It's about being present, and it's full awareness of the present moment, like I am now. And it is expressing this instant power, this instant knowing or action when the timing is right. Because when something sacral responds to something, that's why it's so fast. It could potentially get right into action because it's connected to the throat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not really about what happened in the past or what might happen. It's like what's happening right now. So this is, a lot of times people have this gate or this channel. You can tend to maybe move faster than your words. We always talk about the sacral having that, but sometimes this could be even faster than that. It could just be honestly, for them, might sound too slow. They could just say yes really
Mm-hmm.
fast. Yes, no, yes, no. That's a lot
Mm-hmm.
faster than the or they just go.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it's the power within that gate 34 is that individual power. And when it's connected to the 57, that's the intuitive knowing. That is power that is just meant for you. A lot of this power in that 34, as you said, is power that's just meant for you to move you in the direction that you need to go. And it's interesting. I gotta really pay attention this time this year to see if I notice any changes there as far as that getting into action. I have the 34/7. I don't have the 20 or the 10. But
You
there
have
will
the
be that connection.
3457?
What did I say? 35/40? What did I say?
I think you just said 34/7, but
Oh, 57.
I
Say it
don't
so
know.
fast. But yeah, so this is really energy that is meant for you to it's part of the integration network, and so that means it's, you know, it's very tied to your place in the world, what's right for you, what you're responding for, you as a being, as a person functioning in the world, getting into action and what you can do with that. It can also, you know, be a little impulsive. So if you are a manifesting generator, yes, you can get into action, but to remember to also consider if there are other people that maybe need to be informed before acting. So maybe considering that during this time. But really the dance here is between that pure life force energy and then also being consciously aware of what's happening in the moment and what needs to be done. So it's like it just kind of knows what needs to be done right now. There's a lot of that. It's power in the present moment. There's no strategizing, none of that stuff. It's just like no real thought behind it. It's just like go. So I'm sure you know who you're thinking of.
yes.
Your father. He's very
Yes.
strong in this. He is a 34/20 manifesting generator, and it's in his unconscious, so he's not really aware of it. We're all aware of
Yeah.
it.
Yes. Yes. He will just be gone. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. But you know, it's called the channel of charisma because it is rather, you know, has kind of this magnetic influential quality to it because I think it can be expressed as a very self-assured person because you could be a fast decision maker, in my opinion. Like when I'm thinking about your dad's expression of it, like I feel confident a lot of times when he responds quickly to something in the sense that he knows what to do. A lot of times he does. He just knows what to do in the moment. You know what I mean? And he can just do it.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that, be mindful if you have this energy. Other people don't necessarily have that speed or that energy. And to, you know, I think this is one of those parts where I'm like, oh my God, when I had this awareness of my design and his design after 25, almost 30 years of marriage, I was like, this is it. This is the thing that helped me stop being so annoyed all the time by him and trying to explain myself and the way I do things, being a generator, not a manifesting generator. We do not operate at same speeds. And for the most part, I'm able to have more peace with that now and not feel like I need to prove as much or move as fast as he does. He doesn't get it, but I get it. So it's helped me to try and explain it to him as far as we're different and you're different from this person and you can't expect them to move at the same pace as you or to even make decisions as quickly or to understand because he's also, you know, well, I think he is emotionally defined. This is main contention in my life. I'm still trying to figure him out. But which is ironic, right? Person I've known long. Anyways, but you know, to understand that, you know, a lot of people don't move that way, but things could be moving very quickly during this transit. So to be aware of that. And if it doesn't feel comfortable to you, if you feel like things are moving too fast, or maybe there's people around you or things are happening too fast, just to be like, okay, this could just be the influence of the energy right now. And if it's something that you don't have to necessarily like get swept up in or, you know, move along with, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. It could just be the influence of this energy on the planet at the time because it can feel really, I think it can feel somewhat to someone who doesn't have this energy can feel somewhat overpowering at times. Like I said, I have a lot of feelings around feeling like there was something wrong with me, that I could not, process as fast or do things as fast or just get into action that quick. That's not how
Mm-hmm.
I'm designed. And so you might feel that pressure that you have to get into action, but you don't have to. It's just the energy. But if you want to dip into it, have fun with it, maybe you can. Let's see. Anything else you want to say about that?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So it's really the energy of being in the moment and then being able to move when the time is right. And so that's a sacral response. So anyways, just some things to consider during this time. What happens when you trust your timing instead of like pushing for results? Can you let things move naturally instead of trying to control it by, being more present about what is happening in the moment? What really needs to happen? What do you feel called to? Don't overthink things. Are you overthinking certain things? So there's just a lot
Mm-hmm.
of energy around presence, because with the earth being in 20, that means that you
Mm-hmm.
have to be grounded in that present moment. And so it may be a little bit easier this time even to find yourself more grounded in presence during this time, because that energy
Yeah.
is going to be supported there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so wrapping it up. November 28th, the sun is going to move into gate 9, gate of focus. Down. In
Uh-huh.
I Ching, it's called the taming power of the small. And in quantum, she calls it convergence. You have this
Mm-hmm.
one, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the earth is in gate 16, the gate of skills. And I Ching, throat. And I
Mm-hmm.
Ching, it's called enthusiasm. And in quantum, she calls it zest.
Now,
Uh,
are these the first ones that have not been individual this
yes.
whole month? Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Whew. All right. Take a little breath, a little breather. Whew. Yes. These are collective energies.
Okay.
Gate
Interesting.
9 connects to gate 50. So gate 9 is in the sacral, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's in the sacral.
Mm-hmm.
Gate 9's in the sacral, connecting to gate 52 in the root, in
Mm-hmm.
the channel of concentration. And then gate
Mm-hmm.
16 is in the throat, connecting to the gate 48 in the spleen,
Mm-hmm.
in the channel of the wavelength. So,
Yes.
Haley, what do you know about
Okay.
gate 9?
K9
It's called focus.
is yes. Because Ian has this whole channel. I know we talk
Correct.
about him in this, and I can't, I think, okay, so I think 9 is, when we talk about this, is like the eagle, like the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It like, it knows,
Gate
it can
9, no,
see the
gate
focus.
9, gate 9
Oh,
gives the
I don't
focus.
have that one.
The whole channel, no, you're on the right wavelength.
Uh,
Wavelength. No, you're in the right spot. 52 is known as stillness or the mountain, right?
mm-hmm.
So it is still, you're talking with the analogy that, or the description I heard that helped with that, like you just said, is that bird of prey circling overhead. And then it zeroes in on where it has to go. That's the
Mm.
gate 9, the focus. Like it knows where to
Okay.
focus its energy. Yeah, because it's a sacral gate, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be
Yes.
responding.
Yes.
You have
I.e.
to,
giving the focus.
exactly. So it is being a collective gate. It's in logical circuitry. So it is going to be kind of methodical, logical energies, more future oriented, bringing ideas, visions, into reality. And it's connecting to the root energies. So those connections between root and sacral are powerful because you've got those two motors connecting. But we know that like I said, the 9 is sacral, the 52 is root. So it pulses. But when you have gate 9 without 52, you can have the ability to focus, especially getting it like you like to do. Where is your gate 9 in your chart? Do you know? I don't know. I'm not looking at your chart.
It's my unconscious moon.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so that's kind of your motivation. You do like details. You
Mm-hmm.
you are able to focus on things. And Without having gate 52, though, sometimes the challenge there can, not really know what to focus on. It's like you can,
Mhm.
52 gives it that pulse of, knowing what to zero in on when it's time. It's kind of that overarching view, and then moves into action. But so when you have this gate, you are able to, like I said, really focus your attention and feeling that sacral response to, hone that focus, know where it should, you can put your energy, let's say, at that time. But you're a projector, you don't have a defined sacral center, so it's going to be a little variable at times. It can be
Mhm.
inconsistent. It can feel more energized around other people than by yourself, but it doesn't mean you don't have it. It just can be variable, obviously, in its
Mhm.
expression. And so if we look over at gate 16, then this earth energy, gate 16 is in that channel with the 48. It's all about mastery. It's about mastering your craft.
Mhm.
It's in a throat, so it's a gate that can get into action and quite often does. And if it doesn't have the 48, a lot of times it's wanting to jump in without having any real depth of training yet, or let's say,
Mhm.
or behind their skills. These are people that do like to jump into things like both feet, let's go, let's try it, let's do it. That's enthusiasm. That's zest. It likes to get into action and experiments through doing. It wants to learn by engaging, doing things over and over again. Like I said, if you don't have that full channel, it could kind of jump in too soon. Um,
Mhm.
could lose interest sometimes, lose its focus. But during this time, if you're looking at, 16 is like, if we think about that whole circuitry there from the root all the way up to the throat through that collective circuitry, those channels there, it is about repetition, mastery over time,
Mhm.
working on your craft, really honing your skills. And then the 16's the expression of all that. It is like taking all of that energy and bringing it out into the world, into a masterpiece, or your, performance at the top of your game, that kind of thing. And so, but usually it's something that, you're only going to stick with something and repeat it over time if it's something that really brings you joy and it's something that you really
Mhm.
love doing. And there's a lot of themes in that too. Um, but, without that connection to the 48, if you have that gate, it can, like I said, have you doing things too soon, jumping in too soon without really practicing, without really getting to be, masterful. So
Mhm.
I don't have this gate.
You have a 48 though, don't you?
I do. I have the other end. It doesn't get into action because it's always waiting and thinking, oh my God, I don't know enough
I
to
don't know
do.
enough.
I can't do. I don't have enough. And the other one's like, I don't care what I know. Let's do it. So between the 9 and the 16, there is this, kind of partnership, or this relationship between concentration and expression, the details, and also like getting into action, learning, sharing what's been learned. With that determined focus with the gate 9, and then with the enthusiasm of the gate 6, there is this, kind of,
I don't know if you said 6 or you cut out
I
and all I
did.
heard was 6.
I did say 6, I think. I think I said 6 instead of 9. 6 or
No, you
16?
said 9, but you said 6 instead of 16, I think. It's either
Okay.
you only said 6 or I only heard 6. I don't know.
Yeah. Um, so with these
It's
gates,
chaos time.
both being in logical circuitry, they have a shared purpose of improving systems, refining methods, and then, doing or sharing what works with the collective. It's part of the cross of planning, which has a lot of those themes in it, which is systems, processes, details, all that stuff. And cross of planning is actually the cross we're moving out of, and the big collective, shift that's happening in
Hmm.
2027 is the themes from the cross of planning into the themes of the cross of the sleeping phoenix, which has the 3420 and the 59.5. So you can see we're moving from more collective focus to more energy or individual energy focused as a whole. Anyhow, the gate 9 wants to stay with things until it's solid. It's got details. It's like focus, but the 16, is like, let's just go out there and do it. So there's going to be that push pull between waiting for the right time, focusing on the right time, staying focused and scattering and just wanting to get excited and
Try
go
it
out there
all.
and do it. But together, you can see how they can work really well together with the 9 being the sun gate. You're going to be grounded in that enthusiasm and grounded in that willingness to get out there and to do. But you'll have the ability to focus, make sure it's going in the right direction. And it's not just like throwing spaghetti at the wall kind of thing. Okay, so during this time in the collective, we may see more emphasis on quality over quantity, refined results, maybe people or things or yourself, wanting to refine the details, wanting to make sure everything is in the right space before you get into action kind of thing. A lot of themes around efficiency, technique, but also there could be in the shadow more performative action and proving action instead of something that's really inspired by what is joyful to you and what lights you up. And, since this is, we're talking about sacral energy here, there's always potential for burnout for doing things that aren't aligned. So making sure you're paying attention, especially if you are a sacral being, what's lighting you up. Also, for the non-sacral types out there, I would like to say that, you can see through the end of this month, there is a lot of highlighted sacral energy that you will have access to that maybe sometimes you don't if you're not around people who have these consistently, these energies. So to remember that you may feel more energized, but to understand again, you still, if you're a non-sacral type, that you don't always have access to that energy, but it's fun to maybe dip into it, feel some of that creative energy, that creative expression, feel what it feels like to have the power. Because you have the gate 34, right? And you have the gate 9. So these will be amplified a bit.
Yes.
But to, always remember, you're still going to need your rest. So the last half of November can feel a little energizing. That's around Thanksgiving and everything else. Make sure you build some time in there for some rest after the holidays. Don't get too excited. But yeah, so really rounding out this month, asking yourself what really feels worthy of your focus and your effort. Are you scattering your energy too much on other things, or, is there something that's really lighting you up that you can focus your energy into? How can you bring more joy into your work? What have you been maybe working on that's ready to be shared and celebrated? This would be a good time to get that out there in the world, because that push, like for me, I have the 48, but not the 16. So I will have the flavor of that full energy at the time. And it could be an opportunity for me to also kind of get some things out there, in the world that have been working on a long time. The irony. Okay. So we did it, Haley. We did it. We finally got through it all.
November.
Yes. It's going to be an interesting month. I've always loved November. It's my birthday month, obviously, like I said, but I don't know. Maybe it is feeling all that energy. I love fall. I've always loved fall. And that's not because of pumpkin spice lattes or anything, but Thanksgiving was always one of my favorite holidays, just for the togetherness and the food.
Not the actual
No, not
messed up
why.
history of the
Yeah,
whitewashed history of it.
the
But,
whitewash history of it, but what we've made it, which is always to family gather together, which we will be gathering together. Unfortunately, you will not be here, but we will see you in December, so that's great. We're gonna see you later in the year. Yay. But anyway, so let's wrap this episode up. And since it is the end of the episode, we know what that means. It is time for
the Incarnation Cross of the Week.
Yes, you are correct. Incarnation Cross. So we like to end every episode by highlighting one of the 192 Incarnation Crosses.
Mhm.
These are, do you want to say, or are you just too tired to say?
I can say it.
Haley's in a low energy spot, so I'm gonna ask her before she contributes to make sure she wants to.
Yes. So the Incarnation Cross is gonna be, it's all about sun and earth energy. And
Mm-hmm.
specifically in your chart, it's gonna be your sun and earth energy on your conscious and unconscious side. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is.
That's right. And so these four gates, obviously, since we just did an episode on transits, we see the influence that they carry in your chart.
Mhm.
It's like 75% of your energy is expressed through their sun and earth gates. And so the Incarnation Cross is kind of a theme in your life based around these sun and earth gates. And so they're always, those gate expressions are always fluid, they're always moving. But what we try to
Mhm.
highlight here is, when you are in alignment, you're moving through life, honoring your own energy, your own strategy and authority. This is the potential of what is there. And it's also kind of the gift that you bring to the world. So today we're going to be looking at the left angle cross of uncertainty 2. And I did choose this one for this month. So, if you're born in November, you may have this cross. It is all my sun and earth gates, but I'm not the left angle cross of uncertainty. I'm the juxtaposition cross of empowering, but I figure there'd be more people out there who are a left angle cross of uncertainty than juxtaposition cross. So in this cross, the sun is in gate 14 on the right hand side of your chart, conscious side of your chart, black numbers. Sun is gate 14, power skills, like we just talked about. Earth is in gate 8, gate of contribution. And then on the left hand side of your chart, red numbers, unconscious side of your chart, Sun is in gate 59, intimacy, and Earth is in gate 55, spirit. Okay.
Mhm. Power skills, contribution, intimacy, and oh, I lost it.
Spirit.
Spirit.
You think with one eye open. Okay, so if you were born under the left angle cross of uncertainty 2, you're here to build stability through what you create, something that others can rely on and grow from. Your energy is about shaping a world where people feel supported enough to open up, connect deeply, and trust life again. You lead by example, showing that security and authenticity aren't opposites, but actually partners. When you commit to what's real for you and create from that grounded place, you naturally attract the right people and opportunities to join you. Your presence reminds others that real success is rooted in trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the process, and in the flow of what you're building. Your purpose is to lead and inspire others to live in truth with themselves. You're here to build a foundation of life that feels good, solid, and genuine, one that others can stand on too. You teach that authenticity isn't something to chase, it's something you embody. Through your faith in your own value, you model what it means to express your full self without hesitation or compromise. You show people that when they live from their you show people that when they live from their core, they become the source of their own security and the creators of a life that truly fits.
Hmm. So good.
And that's it. So thank you much for having been born under that cross.
Yes, we need your stability.
Manage stability. And if you were interested in that, and you, again, I just want to remind you that get on the email list because there will be a workshop coming up on November 9th that we're going to dig into all things about the Incarnation Cross, try to help make it make sense to you. It's going to be a full on, I think, teaching model that's going to, teaching moment where it's going to be a full-on teaching workshop. Like if you want to understand what cross is about, how it functions, the difference between the left and the right angles, juxtaposition, it's going to involve profile, those types of things are all tied
Mm-hmm.
into cross and, helping you understand your purpose. Then make sure you sign up on the email list, and some early people that jump into that offer are going to have the opportunity to submit their charts so that we can use their crosses as examples to work through. So that will be fun. And wow, I hope you all have a great November.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that you really spend the time to dig into what it means to be truly you, what you have to contribute, to understand that you are unique, you have a purpose, and you are beautiful, and the world is lucky to have you here. And I hope you really feel that and trust that this week or this month as you get in touch with some of those energies.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you'd like to say, Haley, before we wrap up?
That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you. All right. So go on out there, people. Conquer the world. Until next time. Bye for now, Haley.
Bye.
Bye. You made it all the way to the end of today's episode, so you must have liked what you heard. If you did, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode, and perhaps leave us a good review. And if you know someone who wants to dig into all things human design with us, make sure you share the Human Design Hive podcast with them. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks for listening.